Here.
Commissioner Lisa?
Here.
And Commissioner Kramer?
Here.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, public comment. Miss Deanne Welch, Peyton Colony Road.
My name is Deanne Welch. I live on Peyton Colony Road. You're all familiar with me. You're going to continue to get to know me a lot better until we find a better way to communicate. When I was here 2 weeks ago, Judge Bray, you appeared to threaten me to have me removed or banned from speaking. So I brought with me the government code. It says a government body may not prohibit public criticism of the government body, including criticism of any act, omission, policy, procedure, program, or service. So I think we should test your rules of decorum. If you really do believe I have insulted your integrity, otherwise I think you should refrain from making empty threats. In my opinion, you have squandered the tax dollars that I've sent in. You should be supporting first responders, fire protection, EMS. And when I came to tell you what happened to me when the EMS was not open at 8:30 on a Thursday morning, you appeared to ignore my statements, as you're doing right now. I want to state for the record that Judge Bray does not make eye contact and he writes notes while the public speaks.
Is that all you have, ma'am?
My 3 minutes haven't run, sir.
Okay.
This is the way you want to communicate? I can play this game.
All right, Ms. Welch, I think your time is up. You don't seem to be utilizing it to communicate, so we're going to move on. Thank you. Mr. Welch.
I'm Ken Welch. I'm from Blanford County. 2 weeks ago, this court continued its blatant attack on public participation and transparency in government affairs when you imposed the 3-minute limit on my public comments. Although you created a rule allowing such a limit, you have not imposed it in past meetings. Without notice of any kind, you chose to stop my comments. You have used intimidating tactics by requiring confidential information from the public under the public participation form. You used delay tactics in regard to the release of public records. You've utilized our county attorney's office to restrict email communications between the commissioners and the public. All of this while claiming openness and at the same time writing the Attorney General's office seeking to put even greater limits on public comment. Today I've come to remind you about your role as an elected leadership of this county. The state of Texas and its government code states, under the fundamental philosophy of the American constitutional form of representative government, that adheres to the principle that government is the servant and not the master of the people, it is the policy of this state that each person is entitled at all times to complete information about the affairs of government, the official acts of public officials and employees. The people, in delegating authority, do not give their public servants the right to decide what is good for the people to know and what is not good for them to know. The Texas Bill of Rights states, every person shall be at liberty to speak, write, or publish their opinions on any subject. Gentlemen, each of you took a pledge to the flag of our republic today. The last line of that pledge is, with liberty and justice for all. Webster's dictionary defines justice as the quality of being just, impartial, or fair. I have great faith that each of you is well intended as you occupy your elected positions. I can only hope that you will ponder how you conduct yourselves in that role, considering the pillars provided by our founding fathers and our state constitution. Be aware, your masters, the people, will expect you to serve them in line with these principles. Thank you, and I'm providing a copy of my statement for the county records.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
All right, moving on to agenda item number 4. We have the minutes from the previous meeting before you for your consideration.
I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes and to approve the minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Eaker, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5 involves the estimated payroll for December.
I'll make a motion to approve the estimated December 2019 payroll in the amount of $314,221.26.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second it.
Mr. Weir?
Greenberg.
Okay, they got Greenberg over here, so I guess it's Greenberg.
That's fine.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6 are the official reports, which are all in and available for review and consideration.
I move we approve the official reports as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Leisman seconds. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under item 7, there's one line item transfer. I believe Commissioner Greenberg needs to fund some tree trimming. Can I?
I'll make a motion to ratify the line item transfer as presented.
Second.
Second. Commissioner Greenberg, was that you?
Yes.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then item 8 is the outstanding bills.
I'll make a motion to approve the outstanding bills in the amount of $175,079.63.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Eager. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The meeting that would normally be held as the second meeting for the Commissioners Court this December would fall on the 4th Tuesday, which I think either is Christmas or Christmas Eve. And traditionally, you all have elected to forego that meeting. So it's on the agenda for discussion today, and if you'll notice the next item would authorize the treasurer to pay bills without that next meeting.
I'd make a motion to forego with the December special meeting that's held on the fourth Tuesday, which would be Christmas Eve.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Weir, seconds. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, which takes us to item 10, concerning paying the utility bills and other expenses due prior to the next Commissioners Court meeting.
I'd like to make a motion authorizing for the county treasurer to pay the bills and other expenses that are due and payable prior to the next Commissioner Court meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Granberg, discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The ESD number 1, the North ESD, has 3 members up for reappointment, they've been submitted as nominations. Mr. Gallerano, Mr. McElhaney, and Mr. Rayburn.
Judge, I make a motion that we pass on this line item until the first meeting in January.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Eaker seconds. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The ESD number 2, the South ESD, has 2 individuals up for reappointment, and they've been submitted as nominations, Ms. McCurdy and Mr. Struck. I don't know if Ms. McCurdy or Mr. Struck are in the room. No. Ms. Hall? No. So, anyone care to make a motion? Those were the only 2 nominations submitted to the court.
Well, I move we consider reappointment of Lynn McCurdy and Carl Struck to serve on the South Blanco County ESD for a 2-year term beginning January 1st through December 31st, 2021.
Okay, so you technically said you moved to consider, but I assume you mean we're moving to approve them?
To approve them.
And appoint them?
Yes.
Reappoint them?
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Weir seconds. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13 involves the records management policy, and there are some more.
I will make a motion to acknowledge the record management policy and declaration of compliance by the elected county officials.
Yeah, the county officials involved is another 1, 2, 3 of them have come in. 4 of them have come in. All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Weir seconds. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Eaker has a subdivision plat for final review.
After going over all of the information, I make a motion we accept the final plat.
Is there anything else you want to say? Is that it? Are we good?
I'm good to go. They have said that they would get to me the, which is not required, the density test and the moisture test on the road.
On the road?
Yes. And fees accepted.
I'm sorry, what? Fees
And
accepted?
the fees paid.
So that's your motion. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Commissioner Weir seconds. Discussion.
So a little clarification is, in our subdivision rules and regulations, we do have the authority to make them do testing of the density, and so it is required.
It is required,
So,
okay.
yeah,
That's
so-
where I misread it.
Yeah, so that's, but yes.
But they have not completed those. They will be in.
They're still in construction of the road.
Still in construction on the road,
It's
yes.
understandable.
What happens if they don't submit them? And we approve the plats? What's our recourse?
Well, technically, they're not, technically it should be building roads until we approve the final plat anyway.
And have a construction bond on it, right?
So there will be a construction bond, and if they
Construction
don't,
bond.
Which will guarantee that that's done, right?
yeah.
Okay. Other comments or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Chief Jackson, Sheriff Jackson and Chief Leonard would like to address the court about the maintenance position. This position was vacated July the 10th, and I think was advertised not too long after that, and then went through the budgeting process in August and September, and we ultimately, I think, elected to put a maintenance person over in the LEC to focus on the LEC and secondarily focus on us over here at the courthouse campus. And the process has been difficult, I think, is the best way to put it, in finding qualified people.
Yeah,
I want to just set the frame.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we've been looking for a maintenance person since July. We've advertised all the papers and email. We've had one other person. We've had only 2 applications. One person said he'd take the job, but he wanted $52,000 a year minimum. That's a little bit out of our price range. It's more than anybody makes in the county. So we have another very qualified person that just put in, and what I'm asking is with that $31,000 that we've been budgeted for this year to be distributed starting December 15th through the end of our fiscal year, to where he'll be made his annual, the $31,000 is already budgeted. I'd just like to tack on per pay period what would equal out to $31,000. So it'd be a little bit more per pay period than what he's agreed for.
Can you give us a monthly salary number?
I'd have to calculate it out, but it's about 2.5 months of back pay. So he'd be making $31,000 in 8.5 months.
So if we did this at the next budget cycle, would he take a demotion in pay?
No, that's where I'd like it, at least that to begin.
So that would be approximately about a 30% raise.
Be approximately about, maybe, not quite 30, but it would be,
Yeah, because we're talking about probably about 40 weeks left in our year, in our budget cycle. So dividing that out would average out, if you work 40 hours a week, would average out to about $19 an hour.
well, what I'd like to make, for him to make next budget year is around 35,000 instead of 31. But for this year, since we've already budgeted for 31, I'd like to be able to use that money for the remainder of the year.
So what about the other positions that have not been putting an employee in? For instance, the tax assessor collector. Are we going to do the same for them?
I don't know, that's up to y'all. I don't think 31,000, the guy that has applied has excellent background. He can do anything. He's been a ranch manager for several big ranches here. He's familiar with computers, carpentry work, electrical work. I mean, he's everything we're asking for. And he's more than willing to come over here and help also.
What's his schedule, Shane?
He's going to make the schedule. It's going to be 40 hours a week on call. I would like to see 10-hour days, 4 days a week. But some he'll have to work more, some will have to work less.
And that fits your needs?
That would fit our needs, yeah. And I think it would fit the south and up in this area.
Are we talking about sharing him over here too?
Yes.
Then how would you handle any overtime situation, just with comp time, or?
Well, the same way I do, I don't do a whole lot of comp time. I try to let them, if they work, I try to let them make them flex their hours. If they work a certain amount of hours this day, then the next day they can. Or if allowed. If they go overtime during the pay period and there was no other way to flex those hours, then they get paid overtime. But that's the way I keep the overtime as low as possible. Just by flexing hours.
I guess my downfall, my problem with it is it's starting a precedence that Mr. Weir has a position open. What's to stop him from asking the same thing? And I know it's based on us.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. I just don't think 31,000 to be able to, I mean, we've had nobody show any interest until now. And
Well, you did, but he wanted.
yeah, he wanted 52,000. And, you know, this also includes a truck and everything else. This guy lives local. He's well known. He's well, all his past employees are very high on him. He's got a young kid here in school. His wife is, she worked at the bank. She's been disabled now from a car wreck. He's just, he's really a good guy. I think everybody here would like him. But he is knowledgeable and he is experienced. So, and that's kind of everything we're asking for, looking for. And he's already asked, well, could he start looking for things that need to be done immediately and, you know, prioritize before he even has started work. So he shows initiative. I think he'd be a good, you know, a good asset, and good investment for the county.
I cannot remember, are we at a base of 30,500 or 31,000 this budget year?
I thought I seen 30,000. 30,500 is what I seen.
Well, the maintenance was
So we did
31.
not, we did,
Is it 31?
Yes.
So my calculation was of 30,500.
which is the maintenance.
It's not that much of a difference, but.
I know if you use an independent contractor per call and have them come in, they base it on $50, $60 an hour whenever they're coming. You know, but that's not a full-time deal, it's per call.
Well, I think we have enough work for full-time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no
So,
doubt.
I'm just giving you a comparison, and these folks come with their own tools and all that, but they're based on a high labor rate.
And he has already passed on background FBI check. Very proud.
Well, another situation with this employee, since he's on call, that kind of limits him to go out and possibly find any other sideline after-hour jobs.
Well, it would. What he's doing now is side jobs, odd jobs, but he says he can work on those schedules. I mean, he's not, you know, it's just a job here, a job there, smaller jobs. And I think that 40 hours a week, especially if he's doing tens, would help him be able to work some of those odd jobs on the weekend, or the 4 days off, or 3 days, whatever he does.
Well, I could see it'd probably be the need to have a supplemental job
Yes.
to stay afloat.
Yeah.
Would this job be his priority? If he had a
It's his
side job
number one
going, would he drop it and come straight on?
Yes.
Okay.
It is his number one priority, and his family is behind him on this. So, I mean, he's, like I said, he's been very highly recommended from everybody who worked for him and people that know him.
And you need 40 hours.
Yeah, I have to.
Are you still in negotiations? Is this the sticking point?
I'm in negotiations always, as long as it's improvements.
No, I mean with him.
No, he's accepted the job as is. but I did say we're gonna fight for a little bit more money. And I will definitely be fighting for more next year. If it, you know, if he works out to be everything we're thinking he will be. He does need a job. He did lay off. They sold him ranch. They gave him severance pay. And it's about to rise.
If he had not yet accepted, and we are here December the 10th, November, October, September, August, almost 5 months. I think the commissioners would be a little more amenable to looking at it, but since he's already accepted, it's almost like we don't need to.
Well, I think to show our, you know, our appreciation, and here's the other deal, so we go without it that much longer. I would still ask for it if he didn't accept it. And what's gonna keep him from not moving on after, if he finds something better? You know, if we can show him some, you know, help, I think, or appreciation, I think he'd stay. I really do. But if he, I mean, family's gonna come first when it comes down to that. But this is a good, steady job. I mean, it's got good benefits. For around here, it's got really good benefits.
Can we run with a regular budget this budget year and see if he's happy with the county?
Well, what if we lose him between now and then? Because he finds something.
What if he doesn't work out for you?
Well, if he doesn't work out for me, he doesn't work out.
Yeah. So,
I mean, that's never been a problem with me.
yeah. So, I mean, it's a to and fro type thing. I'm wondering if he would take this budget year and run with it and see if he likes it. And see if you like him.
Would you be, well, I already know your answer to this, but if you took 1 month of the lapse salary, so you took October's lapse salary and you added it in, you'd be making about 27 something. Comes out to 33,576 a year for an annual salary. So this year we'd be paying less because we'll only have 9 or 9.5 months of salary to pay. It's not the whole lapse that you were just asking for. It's something, and then the commissioners would need to budget 33,576 for him the following year. And
I'm gonna take what I can get. Now, I'd like more than that.
well, I'm just throwing stuff out. I don't know if anybody's going to give you anything. But I'm trying to find a
I
compromise.
mean, and how much were you saying? 30?
And by the way, in finding that compromise, I have every concern that Commissioner Leishman expressed about his road hand, her clerks, just, you know, in general. On the one hand, on the other hand, I get told during the summer that we don't pay county employees enough
Right.
in general. So.
No argument.
I do see a need for this employee because it's been the position has been vacant for how long? 5 months.
About 5 months.
So he might need to work a little overtime, and I'm assuming maybe that could be used out of that same line item to cover any overtime expenditures. But again, I'm gonna stick with my keeping the base salary the same. Is my opinion.
Well, I don't think that's enough for somebody that has this kind of responsibility. I mean, there again, he's going into secured areas. He's already experienced in doing what everybody's going to expect him to do. I think we went 5 months advertising hard, was showing very little interest. And the only other one that was even applied, minimum was $52,000 a year.
And that's really your difference, as I see it, to try to convince the court is when Ms. Waller or Ms. Spees or somebody puts out a posting, they usually get some applicants.
Mm-hmm.
You have not.
Not,
And it's actually more like 6 months now,
yeah,
July 10th to December 10th.
I mean, but there again, he's on call. It is secured areas. He's already experienced computers, electrical, just general maintenance. That's what he does.
I know some jobs have a required skill set to them that the pay just doesn't fit the skill set. And I feel like every once in a while the county or any municipality gets caught up in that because they have a set pay. And then you have a guy you're asking to come in with extra skill sets to try to fit that pay.
Right.
So we've had that debate before, such as a blade man or somebody with experience coming into the county. You see them out there. You need them desperately. They're good, but they can't work for this. No, it doesn't fit the skill set. So I understand what you're going through. I just don't understand I don't know how we deal with that.
Well, the way I look at it, the money's already been budgeted for. This can be a battle we can fight next year, but as of right now, I think there is money in there. That's the other thing. They're not on call. Most of these people that we're asking for are not on call. He'll be required to come in on weekends and be able to flex his hours. I don't see that with the regular county positions for most of them.
This is kind of be looked at as a signing bonus type situation.
Well, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to get him, to where we'll be able to keep him.
Yeah.
At the end of the budget year, we're going to deal with it again.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
I'm going to give them another minute or two to try to think about a motion if they're interested. In the meantime, I want to ask you, what happens when he gets his jailer license?
If he does become interested in becoming a jailer, I don't think that's been discussed too much with him or his family.
May not be something he wants to do.
Might not be, but I'm hoping that it would be, and then there is no question on the pay. I mean, he'd be up there.
But then we'd lose him as a maintenance man?
No, I'm just assigning.
I see.
Hopefully you could use inmate help, at least, all over the county for that matter.
Are you saying we pay him like we pay the other jailers on that pay scale, and he would do?
Not until he becomes a jailer.
I'm talking about if he gets his certification, we would pay him like we pay the other jailers on that pay scale, but his job duties would include the maintenance man?
That would be his main job. He would just be certified as a jailer, be able to take trustees.
So if we're doing a cleanup event and we need some additional help, he could be the supervisor for some trustees to help?
Yes, without having to take deputies on the street or other jailers out of the jail.
Okay. That would work.
But he's got to get there first, right?
Right.
Yeah.
How long does that take?
Well, if he agrees to do that, then it'll take several months. You got 90 days from being hired as a jailer before you have to start taking the course within 90 days, and you have to have it done.
All right, but if he hunkered down and did it, if the court were to give you any additional funds now, if he was to get with it and get his certification, they could avoid the problem of the budget next year and his salary being.
Yes, that is a possibility. He'd have to buckle down now, and remember, during his training, FTO training, he'd have to be pulled out.
Judge, can we put a timeline on that?
No, well, I don't think so, because
But that's taking a position of a jailer.
It would be, yeah.
But
It
would
would
the,
have to be put in next year, next
the
budget.
jailer training take away from his maintenance duties? Would he be?
His training?
Yes.
Yes, it would take some away some.
I'm not gonna make a motion on this one only because, I'm not sensing a lot of interest in doing this. Plus, I guess I'm still conflicted also. I want to get a maintenance guy, and I definitely understand your issues, about keeping him and how hard it was to find somebody. But I don't know, I also am concerned about parity with other employees.
Well, the parity, I don't think there is a whole lot of parity. I mean, he's already experienced. He will be on call more than 8 to 5. If he's working weekends, some weekends when he's on call. I don't think there's parity there. And then I can show you a lot of parity where we've had 2 applicants in 5 months.
Well, right. That's
We've
the
had
issue.
no people show interest.
That's the issue. Now, what about Commissioner Leisman's thought that instead of doing it the way you talked about doing it, that you allow people flex schedules so that if they have to work a little here, they can take off a little there, using some of that overtime budget if he's on the weekends and he winds up making a little more that way.
We're not budgeted for that.
We have overtime budget, don't we?
Right. But I have an overtime budget for what I've got now. I mean, and we get close every year. We've been short dispatchers, we're short jailers now.
All right. Any motions? Thank you, sir. So that takes us to item 16. Ms. Spees, you got anything you want to say about declaring the 9 poll books as surplus property? And I guess you've already maybe spoken to somebody about them going to the library?
I did.
And that's the plan?
Mm-hmm.
So the public library can use them?
Yes, so the library has been asked to help with the 2020 census. They've been asked to have a way for people to maybe complete their census online, and she's thinking she can maybe use those to set around the library to help with that need.
And these are the outdated ones that you have no interest for?
That's correct.
Ability.
They've been sitting, just doing nothing for over a year.
I'll make a motion to authorize to declare the 9 electronic poll books as surplus property and donate to the Johnson City Public Library.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Weir, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There's a joint resolution copy in your packets that we'll all need to sign if you approve it, authorizing Ms. Walla to work with both the two primary parties in Blanco County to conduct the March primary election and, if necessary, the 2020 runoff in May.
I make a motion approving the joint resolution agreement for the March 2020 primary election and the May 26th, 2020 runoff election.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Greenberg, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Ashby would like to talk to us in executive session. So, the Commissioners Court will begin its executive session in accordance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551071, consultation with attorney. It is, and we're gonna go in there, so nobody has to go anywhere if they want to. It is 9:40 a.m. And we're adjourned, we're recessed. The Commissioners Court has completed its executive session on this 10th day of December at 10:15 a.m. No action was taken on any item in executive session. We are resuming open meeting and general session, and we are at item 20.
Due to the weather conditions that are outside, I would like to pass on item 20, since the burn ban did expire today, correct?
I guess it expired at noon today.
I'll say that.
Well, wasn't making a motion, it's just passing.
Oh, you just letting it go, I got you.
Unless anyone has another comment. Anything else on item 20? And by the way, I'll have, Ms. Ashby's still here. I can't remember, we'll have to consult. I don't think we can restrict the fireworks unless we have a burn ban.
Correct.
So-
That's my recollection as well.
All right, so, if we're passing item 20, we're not really, we don't really have anything to do on item 21, involving skyrockets with sticks, et cetera.
We'll make a motion with adjourn.
I'll say that.
Commissioner Weir, seconds discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.